In Memphis, nothing comes easy, and that's exactly how we like it. This is a city built on hustle, on heart, on grit. And at Carway, our rides are built the same way. Tough, reliable, ready for the grind. No games, no gimmicks, just Memphis-style service. Real, honest, and built on trust. Where grit meets grind, you meet your next ride. Carway, grit, grind, and Pink Beetles. In Memphis, we know a thing or two about resilience. From the grindhouse to the Delta, we protect what's ours. But when pests invade your home, it's time to fight back. Grade A Pest knows how to handle what crawls, flies, and bites. With local experience and guaranteed results.
I'm Reggie with Grade A Pest Control. We service the Memphis metro area. That also includes DeSoto and Fayette County as well.
Grade A Pest has the entire Mid-South covered. So if bugs and pests put you to the test, let Grade A solve your problem. It's time to clock out and turn it up. The biggest stories, the hottest takes, and no last call. It's time for the happy hour.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to BCM Happy Hour, hosted by yours truly, Francis Carlotta, joined by and also co-hosted with the guy who not only does he get buckets, he also hits dingers. That's Rusty Witt. And what's going on, Rusty? How was your game yesterday, man?
Man, it was good. I say that. I went 3 for 5 in the 2 games that we played, but we got mollywopped. I had a 3-run home run in the first game, and that was the only 3 runs we scored. Hit a couple doubles in the second game, but we just we got better from our team last year, but everybody else in the league got better. And so they got a lot more better than we did, to use good English there. But you know what? We're having fun. We're having a good time. I'm glad to be back here. Shout out to everybody in the comments hanging with us. And shout out to you, my guy, Francis, way out in California. Happy to be here on this happy hour, man. Good day today for you so far?
Yeah, pretty good day. We were talking before we got on. Some annoying work stuff, but,
Same.
Life goes on. Everything moves forward. And, while it's 5 o'clock over there, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. So it's 5 o'clock in the Mid-South. Y'all go hang out. Come join us for this show. Grab a beer, grab some water. If you're driving home, be safe out there. Get home safe. But if you're home, put your feet up, relax, put us on, and let's have a good time. We got a lot of awesome topics to talk about today. And I'm ready to get going, Rusty. Let's do it, man.
Yeah, man, for sure. As we dive in here, the big news of the day was the Peyton Watson trade and the Cleveland Cavaliers also signing one James Harden to a contract extension. So it looks like the Cavs have their team set. The trade broke last night as Peyton Watson is finally out of Denver. It's been one of the worst kept secrets in the league for a long time. Everybody knew he was going somewhere. He wasn't going to stay in Denver, and he got traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers, shipping Cleveland or Peyton to Cleveland, Max Strus to the Clippers, and then the Denvers pick up a pick each, both from the Cavs and the Kings. Man, the Peyton Watson saga finally comes to a fruition, and a culmination here with Peyton Watson being shipped to Cleveland. And then today, James Harden signs a fat contract extension, going to make him one of the highest, if not, I think he's the highest player in the history of the NBA per Shams, and a career earnings of $511 million. Francis, what are your thoughts about the new look Cavs and Peyton Watson joining them up there?
Yeah, I think it'll make a difference for just more front court depth. I mean, you're looking at their roster. It's Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and hello, like it's just
Yeah.
that's their big front court guys, and now
Yep.
they got Peyton Watson, who will help. He is a good, solid NBA player. But they re-signed Harden, obviously, which everyone I feel like assumed that would happen. But I don't see it with this Cavs team as a whole, Rusty. Like I think at best they're a 4 seed. At worst, they're gonna be in the play-in, man. Like I don't see how much this actually moves the needle. And now you're committing a lot of money to Harden. You're committing a lot of money to Peyton Watson, committing a lot of money to Mobley, Donovan Mitchell, etc. And I just don't think the core of this team is good enough to compete in a pretty loaded East, Rusty. This East is stacked. I just don't think Cleveland's good enough. I don't think it'll matter much. What do you think?
I agree. James Harden has a great history, a proven history. He's the 511 million makes him the 4th player in NBA history to eclipse 500 million. That's what I saw from Shams earlier.
Wow.
I don't think James Harden can carry this team. James Harden has proven that he is a regular season good, but what has he done in the playoffs? And so this does not move the needle for me at all. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. Shout out to my guy Drew Gann in the group chat today. Said that this team is good enough to be the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, but not good enough to make the Eastern Conference Finals. And I kind of dig that because Allen has shown a propensity to James Harden has shown a propensity to not be able to carry it in the playoffs, as has the rest of that Cleveland roster. Donovan Mitchell is another guy who is a playoff faller. Evan Mobley hasn't done it. He was a ghost in the playoffs last year. And Jared Allen has even said himself, like, the lights
are too bright.
Anticipated, right? They were too bright. And so this Cleveland team is interesting. They got a ton of money in, like you said, in James Harden. They got a ton of money in Peyton Watson now. They owe Mobley and Allen. This feels like a very much like a 1-year run. And if it doesn't work out, they're going to have to blow it up next year because they, to your point, they have no depth, right? Their centers, as you said earlier, Jared Allen, and then Evan Mobley are their big. They got Thomas Bryant, the former Pacer, who's shown flashes but never has really been consistent. And then other than that, the other center on their roster is Ernest Uday Jr.
Yeah.
Two-way.
And then Naquan Tomlin, Memphis Tiger legend, who's more like a 4, I guess, in the NBA, but still, their front court depth is really not there. But not just front court depth, they're just depth, period.
Right. Especially with Strus is out, Schroeder. They did sign Dennis Schroeder. And so, again, him coming in doesn't move the needle for me really at all. I don't really know what this looks like for the Cavs going in. Again, I think they're going to be regular season good. They'll probably win 55, maybe 58 games next year. And they'll the Eastern Conference is deep, but this is a good Cavs team for the regular season. But they have a history of falling apart in the playoffs. And I don't know that that's going to change next year with this signing. I just don't know what to make of the Cavaliers going into next year.
I mean, I think what to make of them is pretty much what we're saying, man.
And that was my mistake. Dennis Schroeder, I do need to correct. I thought Schroeder got moved out. He is in Charlotte. I forgot about that. Shout out, Jared. Thank you.
Yeah. No, I mean, what to make of Cleveland is pretty much what we're saying. They're going to be good, but they're not going to be that good. Like they'll be good, but they're not going to be a team that's a real contender in the Eastern Conference and a stacked Eastern Conference. I mean, it doesn't really do much. And you're putting so much of your franchise's ability to win in real games on James Harden. And that's just not going to work. Like you said, he's proven it time and time and time again that you cannot rely on him when it's the playoffs. You can't do it.
Yeah.
And that's what Cleveland's doing, and they're kind of screwed for it. So, yeah, if I were a Cavs fan, I would feel like you're in this like weird NBA purgatory where you're not average, you're above average, but you're not good enough to contend. That's where they're at.
They're kind of like in the Eastern Conference, for a great parallel. The Bulls, Heat, and 76ers used to be in that. The Hawks have been there, but the Bulls and Heat are always in that play-in. And they're never good enough to make the playoffs, but they're never bad enough to be out of the playoffs completely and not in the play-in. This is the top end of that. The Cavaliers are good enough to make it into the playoffs as a 1 or a 2 seed, but they're not good enough to do anything once they get to the playoffs. And so they're in a different level of, this is like Dante's Inferno of NBA purgatory, right? There's all the depths of hell. Like they're probably at the, like you got like the Bulls and the Heat down here in the depths of hell. Now that they've got Giannis, that's going to look a little bit different. But up in that first couple of layers there in Dante's Inferno, you got the Cavaliers who are good enough to get there, but not good enough to quite get over the hump. Which brings me to my next question here, Francis. And I'm curious about your opinion on this. The Cavaliers obviously have pressure on them now, right? Because they've got Harden, who is perennially not proven anything. This team has a lot of weird top-heavy money. There's a lot of pressure on the Cavaliers next year. Are they the team with the most pressure in the NBA, or are there teams, what other teams and front offices and players do you see a lot of pressure on for next year?
My number one team is the team who's on the other side of this Peyton Watson trade, and that's the Denver Nuggets, Rusty. They have one of the best, if not the best player in the NBA. And what are they going to do with that player next season? Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
They're going to do nothing with Nikola Jokic next year. And as the years go on, of a bunch of nothing from the Nuggets and a bunch of nothing from Jokic in terms of winning basketball games, Rusty, my hot take is that he asks out within the next 2 years.
Come to Memphis,
and
brother.
not only oh my God. Not only do I think he could ask out, dude, he might just retire from the NBA. Honestly. Like I would not be shocked. Like the hotter take is in 2 years, he's not even in the NBA anymore. Like that's the nuclear, that's the sun take right there. Like that's what it is. But like this team is so poorly structured now with the amount of money that's devoted to Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, Christian Brown, and Jamal Murray. And shout out to Jared who's in the comments. You talked about it this morning on the Daily Grind. It's like you said, Jared, it's like around 200 mil that they're committing to these guys. I mean, and they're not good enough. They're not good enough to be a core anymore. They had their window. They won their title, which I am a huge fan of going for titles and being proud of the title that you have. But now their window's shut. It is shut, closed. And next season, if they don't outperform expectations and Nikola Jokic is unhappy next year, man, that Shams Charania notification about Jokic asking out or him getting just somehow magically traded like Luka got magically traded, don't be shocked, Rusty, man. Like the Luka trade hit us like a bomb. The Jokic trade, I'm trying to prep people for it.
Yeah.
Because there is a world where he gets moved because he shows discontent. And I think there's a lot of freaking pressure on the Denver Nuggets next season to outperform expectations.
Yeah, I was thinking as you were talking through it, what Jared put here in the comments, and that's the top five payrolls are eerily similar, but the Cavs are a little bit better at the top part of their lineup where that money is.
Correct.
In the regular season. They still are not, they're not, I'm not going to call them playoff good because they haven't proven anything yet. Both teams are heading in a similar trajectory, and that's a blow up within the next probably 2 seasons. And Nikola Jokic hates his job just like all of us. Nikola Jokic just wants to go race horses and be in Serbia and just like
he wants to drink.
Basketball. Like, yeah,
he wants to watch horses.
He hates basketball, playing basketball like people hate their cubicle jobs. They're 9-to-5s, which is just wild to me. But hey, it just goes to show that NBA athletes are just like us. As yesterday when I was leaving Grind City Brew, which had an amazing time. Jalen Wells is truly like a very classy one-of-one type.
What a guy, man.
Incredible interview. Sane crushed that interview. Great questions. Did a really, really great job with it. But on the way home, I was coming on AW Tillis and I was coming around. And who do I see sitting in traffic just like the rest of us? But Cam Spencer. And like, that looks like Cam Spencer. And then I see a Connecticut tag and I was like, that was Cam Spencer as he was in downtown Memphis sitting in traffic. So like one of us that sits in traffic just like Nikola Jokic. And so for me, I've got 2 teams that I want to talk about. One of them I'm going to save for a minute because I want to talk about the Memphis Grizzlies and the pressure that is on them. But we can kind of talk about that together because I do think there's a fair amount of pressure on the Grizzlies, and I'll talk about that more here in a minute. But I'm going to take some low-hanging fruit here for mine. I don't love the Philadelphia 76ers lineup. I don't. I've seen the work that's being put in. I saw the videos and the pictures of Maxey and Jalen and LeBron working out together. and I'm probably going to be eating a lot of crow. This will probably get clipped and be reused in the future when the 76ers win 80 games and, are NBA champs. Maxey and LeBron have proven that they can take a side role, right? Maxey last year was a great facilitator for VJ when he was hot. He got the ball to Joel Embiid for the little bit of time that he played last year. And so like those guys, and LeBron is an assist machine when he is in that facilitator role, which I think he will be a lot. But I think there's a lot of pressure on Jaylen Brown going into this next season because he left Boston. He asked for a trade, and it was time that relationship had soured for sure. But his best moments in Boston were without Jason Tatum. His best moments were when he was the guy with Derek White and guys who just weren't bucket getters, Paley Shireman and all these different guys, right? Can he play with another alpha? Because Joel Embiid and Jaylen Brown have never had to do that. They've always been the alpha. Give me the ball, very ball dominant. Again, I know it's analytics nerd talk, but you look at their usage rate and it equals like 140% of the time these guys have to have the ball. Something's going to have to give. I think LeBron and Maxey can take a step back. But there's a lot of pressure here. LeBron took left. He could have went to Cleveland or Miami for the documentary. I still think he ends up there, in the future for his retirement season. But he went to Philly to win a title. And it took a couple of years for it to happen in LA. It took a couple of years for it to happen in Miami. I think that's why they're putting in the work now. But I could also see a world where this team doesn't gel super well. And they probably, this is a year where he's going to take a lap during the regular season and sit some nights out and save his legs for the playoffs. But the East got a lot better. And so while that team is super deep, and I'm a Jaylen Brown guy. I wanted him here in Memphis. I'm a fan of him. I could see that experiment going kind of sideways.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's incredibly fair. My pushback to you is those dudes, LeBron, Embiid, and Maxey. I wouldn't say Maxey doesn't really have an injury history, but LeBron and Embiid especially, they have an injury history. Embiid more so than basically everyone else in the NBA.
Yeah.
While I understand your concerns, Rusty, about how can Jaylen play with other top caliber alphas or other number one options on a team, I think this roster is actually perfect for Jaylen Brown to still be the guy on the team because Maxey is a facilitator. LeBron was incredible as the third option for the Lakers last season. Embiid has awful knees. He might not even play a lot of games, so that dynamic might not matter too much. And even if Embiid does play a lot of games, he doesn't look like the same guy at all. He is going to defer to other players on that team. So I think this is the perfect storm for Jaylen Brown to play with elite talent, but also talent that will let Jaylen Brown be Jaylen Brown. Does that make sense? Like that's how I feel. Like, and while obviously the worst case scenario could happen for Philly. Obviously, the worst case scenario could happen. But I bought in to this Philly team. I think the starting five was legit. I think they got depth. I'm bought into Philly. I am.
Keelan is too. He's clipping this. He's laughing at me because it's a bold take. And I know it's a bold take because there was a pregnant pause after I finished it before you were like, yeah, that's a take. And so I know it's a hot take. I'm probably one of the only people that are not sure it's going to work. And that's fine. I've been out on a limb before. I've also been right before out on my limb. And so we'll revisit that as the season goes on.
That's right.
And I think there's also an argument to be made real quick before we get to the Grizzlies for the Lakers, the team that LeBron just left, because Luka is another guy that he's already doesn't love being in LA. He hated to leave Dallas. He loved it in Dallas. You could tell it was very emotional, him leaving. Keelan says it's a wrap in the East. I think Giannis and I think Jason Tatum and I think some of these other teams might have something to say about that, but that's for another episode. But I think the Lakers have a ton of pressure. Obviously, there's a ton of unrest in the front office as these folks are suing each other for selling the team. The Buss family is clearly imploding around the team, creating levels of chaos that are going to seep down into the team. And then you've got the Hellman's Mayonnaise team running out there with Luka and Walker Kessler and Jake LaRavia and Austin Reeves. And it's just a weird dynamic. I think there's a lot of pressure on the Lakers that if they don't have some semblance of a plan going forward, this year is what it is, right? At this point, y'all are who you are. And I think if there's not a plan going forward and this year goes weird, Walker Kessler gets hurt, Jake LaRavia just is Jake LaRavia. Austin Reeves doesn't continue to develop. I can see Luka getting super frustrated and Luka asking out of the Lakers. Speaking of serves asking out.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think the Lakers have a lot of pressure on them to, again, outperform expectations, because I think the expectations are kind of muted for the Lakers. And they are the LA Lakers with a top 5, top 10 at worst player in the NBA. And they made a lot of moves. They got rid of LeBron, who it's clear that LeBron and that front office did not get along. So LeBron's gone now. There's no quote unquote distractions. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they look like, considering that but I also just don't think they're going to be that good. Like I still don't buy them either as a team that can contend in a fairly weaker Western Conference in comparison to the East. But I don't buy them as contenders either. And quickly I'll give another team as well. Maybe Rusty, and this is why I'm so excited for the season to get closer, because we can have more of these talks. If you're pretty high on Miami, I'm not high on Miami at all. I don't buy them as a contender in the East. I think they will heavily underperform. I don't love, that's an understatement. I hate the offense for Miami. I hate it. I don't understand what that offense is gonna look like at all. So there's a lot of pressure on Giannis, on Bam to take another leap forward as a ascending star in the NBA, a leap to the superstardom level in the NBA. But there's so much pressure on him to get better. There's so much pressure on Giannis to be better than what he has been, and not just better, but to be healthy. My goodness, just stay healthy, Giannis. We know how good you are, but you have barely played any basketball over the past 2 seasons. Not just in the regular season.
Is that health or is that tanking? Right?
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, like who really knows? And if it is health, and if it is health, then he's got to stay healthy. If it's tanking and he just didn't want to play basketball, then all right, cool. Show it to me. Show it to me that you want to play basketball and win again. Show it to me. Yeah. So that's why I think there's a lot of pressure on the Heat entering the season.
I agree. I do agree with that. And hot take, I think Bam is a superstar in this league. I think he can take that next step. He's a great defender. His shot's coming around, and not just because he scored 80, something last year, 83 last year. Like, I do think that Bam, for me, it's more of a Giannis piece. Can Giannis come in and fit around that? Because I think Bam is going to be like a superstar in this league. But I agree with Keelan. I think Miami's still a year away. Doesn't mean they're not going to be an obstacle for the 76ers. But I do think they're a year or two and a few pieces away from being Miami of the past. I like Pelle Larsson and what he's becoming down there. I think he can be a part of that plan. Obviously, he's young and still has a lot of growth to do and coming up. Davion Mitchell's a great point guard. He's been putting in a ton of work this offseason. I think Miami's still a year away, but I do agree with the pressure on it, which brings us to the hometown team. And we'll talk more about local stuff in our On the House segment coming up after our break. But the Memphis Grizzlies do have a degree of pressure on them. And I'll kind of set this up what I'm thinking. So not necessarily to go win and be in the playoffs next year, but Zach Kleiman has gotten a very rare opportunity. And even today, I've been painted as a bootlicker for Zach Kleiman, and then I'm a Kleimanite on Twitter and all this kind of stuff.
Just today? It's only been today?
No, all the time. But today, even today, I had, what's his name? Fred Memphis coming after me for being a Zach Kleiman guy. But Zach Kleiman's been given a rare opportunity for a second rebuild, right? Like he was able to kind of rebuild coming out of grit and grind with John Moran and Jaren Jackson Jr., and it didn't work out, right? Ja didn't play. The guys didn't develop. DB was DB. We had to trade him. And ZK missed on some draft picks and signing some free agents at the right opportunity. I will, to the end of the world, I will defend letting Dillon Brooks go, because Dillon Brooks would never be the Dillon Brooks we see now if he was still in Memphis. He needed Ime Udoka in Houston to kind of get him over that hump. But there's a degree of pressure on Zach Kleiman that starts this year, right? He's laid a foundation. We got Cam Boozer. Cedric Coward needs to take a leap. Zach Edey needs to take a leap. There's some growth that needs to be happening. And so I think there is a degree of pressure on Zach Kleiman. Again, Robert Perry is an absent owner, so maybe it's not as much as I think. But there's a lot of eyes on the Memphis Grizzlies. Kevin O'Connor said that we're going to be we could be a fringe play-in team. Every national media outlet loves what we're building. There's a small, loud minority in the Grizz fan that hates it and don't think we're going to be any good and all this stuff about Ty Jerome. But I think there's a degree of pressure on Zach Kleiman that starts this year that we need to see some growth from last year to this upcoming year to lay a foundation for future success. And so I think the Memphis Grizzlies, maybe not on a national scale, but definitely local, have pressure on Zach Kleiman.
Sure. Yeah, I think the local point is 100% fully on point there. There's a lot of pressure on him locally to perform. I think the national pressure will come over the next 3 to 5 years, I think. I don't think there will be a lot of national pressure on Kleiman or on this Grizzlies team for another, maybe 3 is too long. Let's see 2 to 4 years. Let's see how Cambodia develops. Let's see how healthy Zach Edey can stay. Let's see what they do with if they bring back Ty Jerome or if they flip him, if he performs well at the trade deadline. Let's see what other moves this team makes to develop around its core of guys to put them in the place of a contender. Let's see what he does. Like I think it's a little early to state that there's a bunch of national pressure on him.
Yeah,
but local pressure, I'm with you. I think there's a lot of local pressure on him, and we'll see, man. We shall see.
Yeah. I don't think it's national by any means, but I do think it is some pressure that is starting to begin. And so I want to see that leap. I want to see it coming. I want to see that sophomore leap. Kendarius with the bold take here. Cedric could be a second team all-star. I do think there is like a Desmond Bain type leap coming for Cedric Coward, where he's going to be a great second year player. And then real quick housekeeping. I meant to say this earlier, but he was late. Happy birthday, Edward. Shout out to our guy, Edward Hayes, here in the comments. Appreciate you being here, my guy. Happy birthday, man. Saw it early this morning. Been meaning to reach out all day. It's been a crazy day, but happy birthday. Thank you for spending it here. Tell your bartender first drink's on us, man. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Happy birthday.
But yeah, I think the Grizzlies, the pressure is starting. We're a couple of years away from being real pressure, but the pressure is definitely, the clock is ticking. We'll say that.
Yeah.
Speaking of the clock is ticking, we've had some time to digest the college football top 25, right? The AP poll came out on Friday, almost a week ago now, Francis. We've had our time to kind of digest and see like what teams sit well with us and which ones don't. So I'm going to kick it to you first. Let's start with the teams that are going to fall. In the top 12 every year, like right last year, there was LSU. There were so many teams that were ranked in the top 25 that fell out of the top 25. Who is the first team that comes to mind for you that's going to fall out of the college football AP top 25?
Notre Dame. And I'm going to say that in hopes of God not smiting my laptop this time, but I still stand by it. I said it Tuesday. I stand by it again. How many times are we going to have to do this, Rusty, with Notre Dame before people actually, the voters, I guess, because I think most of us realize it now, but how many times are we going to do this until the voters realize that they don't have to be nationally ranked in the top 5 every single preseason poll? How many times are we going to do this? I don't get it. I'll never get it. So that's the easy answer right there. So besides Notre Dame, I think Indiana has a down year. It's really hard. It's very hard to go back to back. And not only go back to back, it's very hard to be a contender in back-to-back years. And so I think there's a real world where Indiana falls out of the top 12 and doesn't make the college football playoff. I'm not saying that they have some awful season under Kirk Cignetti, but I think there's a world where they don't make the playoffs and they don't live up to the expectations after next season. So those are my two teams, man.
Yeah, I like it. So for me, I'm a little bit biased with one of these, and I own that. I think Ole Miss is vastly overrated. I think the talent is there. I just don't trust Pete Golding. I don't know that Pete Golding is going to be able to carry the same level of gravitas and swagger and edge that Lane Kiffin did. On paper, this team's super talented. They weren't as riddled in the transfer portal. And listen, Trinidad Chambliss being on that team is amazing. But I have a question about Trinidad Chambliss. Is Trinidad Chambliss truly that good and not a single other Division I coach picked up on that when he was up in Michigan in that D3 school? Or is that a product of Lane Kiffin being a quarterback whisperer? Because Lane Kiffin is a known good quarterback coach.
Yes.
And so spicy take here. And I'm sure somewhere Drew Gann is punching air. It's not real high, but he's punching air somewhere. So if you're around
like
him,
punching someone's feet or something.
Watch your
like
knees if you're around Drew Gann right now. Watch your knees. But there's a world where Trinidad Chambliss regresses a little bit. He's not as good as he was last year. Now, again, you get to turn around and hand the ball off to Keywan Lacey, and that's a stud running back. I think they might be slightly overrated. Now, this team could still go win 7 or 8 games next year. Hey, stick around, Smooth Southpaw. After the break, we got a deep dive on the Grizzlies and Cam Boozer coming. So thanks for being here, man. Hang with us. And I'm hating on Ole Miss too. But there's a world where they like 6-7 wins next year is a possibility. I think that their floor is probably that, like 7 wins.
Holy moly.
There's a world where they win 10 games. But I'm just telling you, I think this team can regress and not be in the top 12.
Whoa, 6 or 7 games. I'm sorry, I'm pulling up their schedule now because that's a hot
SEC
take.
schedule. It's an SEC schedule. I'll tell you that. Maybe I had it pulled up earlier.
So you're saying at Texas, October 24th, definite loss.
It could be
At Oklahoma, you're calling that a definite loss.
It almost was last year.
Sure. Georgia at home, that's a definite loss. So that's 4 losses already. That's 3 losses. I'm sorry, I can't do math. 1, 2, 3, that's 3 losses.
Yeah.
4 losses. LSU at home, you're saying they lose that one too. LSU at home on September 19th.
I can see him losing against Louisville on 9-5 opening game of the year. Louisville's a good team.
Hold up. So you're essentially saying that they're going to lose basically all of their ranked matchups. That's what you're saying.
I said they could.
Woo!
I said they could.
I mean,
maybe that's a little bit of hate.
I could win the lottery, bro. I could do anything I want. Man.
I think this team is probably an 8-win team. I think you lose. I think there's 4 losses built in right here without Lane Kiffin. I'm just not as high on him as some teams are without Lane Kiffin. I think Lane Kiffin's going to find some early success at LSU, and I think that there is a world out there. Now, again, we're going for hot takes here, and that's my hot take. My other one, King Meeks. I'm sorry, my guy. I'm sorry, but the University of Miami. I think they're a bit overrated. They played for a national championship game last year, but they lost Carson Beck, who was a big part of that. They lost Reuben Bain. That defense was riddled in the transfer portal and in the NFL draft next year. Again, they're in the ACC. Their schedule is pretty soft. I'm not overly concerned about their schedule. So, I mean, still, 8-9 wins or so is definitely possible. But again, their schedule is like their toughest games. They play Notre Dame, right? They play Notre Dame. They're at Notre Dame. They at Clemson. Their schedule's pretty forgivable. But I just think they got a bit more riddled last year from that team than people are giving them credit for. Again, Mario Cristobal is a great coach, but he's kind of been up and down, right? Can he hit again in the transfer portal? It's so hard to win year after year just relying on the transfer portal, and that's what Miami's doing. And so, King Meeks, I know, man, I'm sorry, but I think Miami in the top 12 might be slightly overrated. Just slightly. Not as much as I think Ole Miss is, but just slightly overrated.
All right. I mean, I can meet you there. I can meet you halfway. I just think it's very hard to repeat high success in just sports in general. So especially in college football, where the turnaround of players leaving, coming in, it's hard in college. Not even just college football, college sports. It's so difficult to find sustained success in this day and age of college sports. So yeah, I mean.
Yeah, and that's my same point with Ole Miss is it is hard to repeat like your most successful season in a long time. For Ole Miss since the 60s, for Miami since the late 90s, early 2000s, right? Like it's hard to reproduce that success, right?
Yeah.
So as we turn the page, what about the teams that are outside the top 12 that could find themselves in the top 12? I'll go first with one of mine. I'm pretty excited about this one. Did some research on it earlier. I like SMU. SMU's a bit lower in the top 25. They're a team that's slightly out. Again, what are they? They're starting at 19. But you've got Kevin Jennings is back. The OC is back. The offensive line is back. What if Kevin Jennings finally takes that big leap that everybody expects him to get? He's an uber athlete. He's got a monster arm. He doesn't see the field super well, so there are some struggles there. But what if this is the year that Kevin Jennings finally takes that leap? Again, you talk about a favorable schedule. They play at Notre Dame on November 21st. They play at Louisville on September the 19th. That's it. The rest of their schedule, Florida State, opening weekend at Florida State. That could be a tough game, but Florida State still doesn't know who Florida State is. Then you got like UC Davis, Missouri State, Boston College, Virginia, Cal, Virginia Tech, Wake Forest. You finish the season at Stanford. It's a very favorable schedule. And if Kevin Jennings can really take that next step and be the quarterback of the future for this SMU team, which I think he absolutely can be, he's shown flashes. It was just 2 seasons ago. They were in the college football playoff at a team that was a darling. They lost to Penn State in that year, but I like what SMU's building. I like the offensive line and the continuation of quarterback and OC. My first team, SMU Mustangs.
I like that one a lot. They were actually my second pick. So you took my second team. And I was going to choose them for literally the same reasons that you mentioned. So, there you go. I'm totally with you with SMU. But my top team is a team. I'm going to put my bias aside for this one and pick the Michigan Wolverines. I'm kidding. Not putting my bias aside. I'm picking Michigan. Michigan is going to be so much better this season than last year. I'm so confident in that. And not, again, bias aside, as just an objective sports fan, I think this team has a real shot at making the college football playoff. I got 3 reasons for you, Rusty. Number 1, Bryce Underwood is the real deal. The number 1 player in the class of 2025. He didn't get that moniker, get that accolade for nothing. He has so much talent at the quarterback position. He has all the talent in the world. He can make every throw in the world. He has incredible legs. He's insanely athletic. His decision-making, sure. His mechanics, sure. But last season, Rusty, I don't know, you may know this or not, Bryce didn't have a quarterback coach last season. Imagine being a freshman quarterback at a high-level Division I program with expectations who's going to start for that team without a quarterback coach, without a dedicated quarterback coach. Imagine that. And that is exactly what Bryce went through last season. This year, it's different. He's got Jason Beck, who's the new offensive coordinator coming from Utah, an offensive coordinator who's also now the quarterback coach for Bryce. Jason Beck last season at Utah, he headed the number 4th ranked offense in all of college football. 4th ranked offense. So I have high hopes for what he can do, how he can transform Bryce Underwood's game. And also last season, Bryce had no one to throw to, Rusty. Nobody. He was throwing the football. He was throwing the football to you and me. Like that's what he had. He had nothing. His receivers dropped 29 passes the entire season. If that were just incrementally better, his completion percentage would have looked a lot better as well. So now he's got real receivers around him. He's got a new offensive coordinator who's now his quarterback coach. So that's the big one for me. I think it's all on Bryce Underwood's shoulders. 2, and I'll make this quick. The distractions from the Sherrone Moore era, those are gone. Sherrone Moore couldn't keep his in his pants, and everyone on the team knew about it. Everybody knew about it, I promise you. And now that distraction is gone, and now they're led by an established head coach in Kyle Whittingham. And I think Michigan's defense is going to be improved, headlined by one of the best defensive edge rushers in the transfer portal, John Henry Daly, coming from Utah. I think this defense will be improved. But the big one, and all my eggs are in the Bryce Underwood basket.
Yeah, King Meeks is saying here you're going to win 2 more games.
I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, that's still an improvement, right?
Yeah. And this schedule's brutal. Sorry, this schedule's brutal. So if they can win 9 games, I think they make the playoff. If they win 9 games, I really do.
Yeah. I mean, it could. I mean, it's a tough schedule. The Big Ten is definitely deeper. It's a little bit top heavy, but there are some teams that are starting to get better. And so, I mean, I think it's a tough schedule. You got, is it Oklahoma? Like you got a tough start to the season. And if you can get some early momentum, I could see it happening. I stole your other one in SMU. I'll be brief with my other one. People always sleep on Eli Drinkwitz and the Missouri Tigers. They're one of the most consistent teams. Now, they're not winning big games. They're not going in, getting, in the college football playoff. This is the year they need to take that step. Can they compete with the Georgias and the Texases and the A&Ms and Oklahomas of the world, right? Can they take that next step to be on that level heading into next year? Austin Simmons, former Ole Miss quarterback, I have some questions about with his accuracy and leadership. But that defense is going to be really good. If Ahmad Hardy is even 90% of the running back he was last year after he got shot in the offseason, glad he's recovering and getting better. I just don't get why people sleep on Missouri. Like they're a 9-10 win team just about every single year under Eli Drinkwitz. Maybe it's because he's a cornball. Maybe it's because he's super nerdy. But, like, I like what Drinkwitz is building there.
Yeah, I love that. I think that's another really, really good shout. He's actually built a legitimate college football program at Missouri over the past. He's really done a good job over there, and we'll see, man. I think that's another really good one.
Yeah.
Meeks,
Awesome.
you know I love you, man. You know I love you so much, but you're gonna be so wrong, and I cannot wait to shove this in your face, man. I cannot wait, man. Woo, I can't wait.
Just know there's a lot of clippable moments in here. If the 76ers fizzle out, if Michigan doesn't make the playoffs, you and I are going to be called to the carpet. But hey, we're going to take a real quick break here. Yeah, we're going to take a real quick break here. Let the sponsors do their thing. Y'all check out our great partners in this commercial break. On the other side, we're introducing a new segment I'm super excited about. So we'll get there. Hang with us. We'll be right back. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you think that growing older means slowing down, sleeping poorly, and lacking the motivation to do the things you want to do, then I've got just the spot for you right here in Memphis. At Game Day Men's Health, you're more than just a number. You're a partner in your health journey. From the free hour-long initial consult to comprehensive check-ins along the way, you're in complete control of your health. Offering TRT, weight loss protocols, performance enhancement, and shockwave therapy for musculoskeletal injuries, you can get back to feeling like the younger version of yourself. At your initial visit, you'll have your blood pressure, PSA, testosterone, hemoglobin, hematocrit, all tested with your results before you leave the clinic. Plus, you have a real conversation with your provider and not just an in-and-out visit. Game Day can help with muscle pain, joint pain, hair loss, ED, peptides, and more. With 2 convenient locations in the Memphis area, your path to a better life is just minutes away. Call today to schedule your free one-on-one consultation.
In Memphis, we don't just make memories. We make moments. A Memphis-owned brewery where great beer meets great times. Crafted right here for the city we love. Live music, game days, and events all year long. There's always something happening at Grind City Brewing. Bring your crew, bring your energy, and make every night feel like a celebration. Real beer, real Memphis.
Some dreams don't just come true, they come with 4 paws. At Puppy Dreams, we match loving families with happy, healthy puppies. From playful companions to lifelong best friends, your perfect match is waiting. And with our professional grooming spa, your pup will look as amazing as they feel. Visit Puppy Dreams today and meet the one who's been waiting just for you. Tired of the same old fast food? The soggy fries, the frozen flavors, the meals that never quite hit right. Head over to Waldo's Chicken and Beer, where everything starts fresh and flavor comes first. Our chicken is fried in rich beef tallow for that bold, old-school crunch you can actually taste. Don't skip the premium homemade southern sides. Fresh greens, hearty white beans, and creamy mac and cheese made to complete the meal. Bring your whole family. There's plenty of space to relax. Plus a game room the kids will love. Catch the game on big screens, grab a drink at the full bar, and enjoy happy hour specials. Every day from 3 to 6, all day on Tuesday and Sunday. Waldo's Chicken and Beer. Real food, real flavor, made from scratch.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Bluff City Media Happy Hour, brought to you by insert sponsor here. That's coming, y'all. As we're growing, doing big things here at Bluff City Media, like you saw yesterday with the Jalen Wells interview down at Grind City Brewing, was an incredible time and had an absolute blast. So much fun hanging out with him, along with our newsletter. Make sure you scan this QR code right here. Bluff City Beat gets you sent to your email inbox twice a month right now. As we get closer to football and basketball season, that's going to pop up to weekly. So if you haven't subscribed, do that right now. You're missing out on some great articles from Francis, from Luke, from Jared, Parrish, Roman Cleary. There's going to be some great stuff coming up this year. Tigers related, Grizzlies related, college football related, non-sports related, and some movie coverage. It's going to be a great time. So make sure y'all scan that QR code and subscribe today. As we move into our On the House segment. On the House is a new segment we're doing for y'all where we're going to talk about some things that are important to us, things that we care about, things that might be a bit more homerish. And we're going to start with Cam Boozer's expectation. There was an article this week, Francis, that came out talking about expectations for the rookies, the new players in the NBA next year. And obviously we have one of the top ones in Cam Boozer. And ESPN asked some writers and wanted to know which of these players are going to be the first to make an All-NBA team, which of these are going to be the first to be an All-Star and a superstar, which of the ones are going to have the fastest career. And so a lot of them are what you would expect. Which pick has the fastest path to become an NBA superstar? That was Darren Peterson, which I thought was very interesting. They picked him in Utah. Maybe it's because the team's going to be a little bit easier. Like the team's going to be better. So maybe he's got a quicker path to get there. Our Cameron Boozer came in fourth in that one. But if you scroll down the article, Cam Boozer is the most likely to make an All-NBA team first. He is the third most likely to be an All-Star first. He does not have one of the higher ceilings according to the articles, but which lottery pick will have the biggest impact on winning this season? It's Cam Boozer. So it's kind of a dichotomy here of back and forth. Like we think Cam Boozer is going to be great. We think he's going to be a winner. He's going to be an All-NBA player. But we don't think he's got the highest ceiling, and we don't think he's going to be a superstar. Make it make sense, Francis.
Yeah, this article, Rusty, it made me laugh so hard because it makes literally no sense at all. Which player will make an All-NBA team first, and then which lottery pick will make an All-Star team first? Rusty, those two things being separate questions makes no sense. Like that makes no sense. If you make an All-NBA team, there's a 99.9% chance you also made the All-Star team. So like what? So if Cam Boozer makes an All-NBA team but doesn't make the All-Star team, does that mean he just didn't play basketball for the first half of the season and then he went on some massive tear in the second half and earned a third-team All-NBA or what? No, that makes no sense at all. Like that it was just a weird article. Like
shout out to Southpaw here. Like he is the fourth most likely to be a superstar, but he's the second most likely to win an NBA championship first here in Memphis. Don't let the haters and the negative Nancy see that. But he's also the number one, landed in the best situation, above Morez, above Ade, above AJ Davis, above all the other picks. He landed in the best situation, and it's because he is the face of the rebuild. But that also entails that he's going to be able to win. And to Kendarius' point, I think this is what I'm most excited about. We've never had a point forward. And if you watch some of the film coming out this week, he's going step for step with Cade Cunningham, a future multi-time NBA MVP. Mark it down. One of my favorite non-Grizzlies. I think he will absolutely win a couple MVPs in Cade Cunningham. Yes, I think Cade will win an MVP before too much longer. He's come close the last couple of years.
Yeah, it was close.
But I think that Cam Boozer is going to unlock so many things on this team, from a post-entry pass to Zach Edey, to kickouts to Ty and Said, and creating space for a slashing Gigi. But I think having this guy on this team, and Ninja DJ, shout out to DJ being there yesterday and meeting Jalen Wells. They just don't know what to make of Cam because he's such an enigma, and he's losing so much weight already. He's 19 years old. Like if you look at the tape and the video, he's already lost some weight. He's going to get back to that scary playing weight. And I think there's a world where Cam Boozer is more of a 3-4 than a 4-3. And if that's the case, they're going to be accolades on top of accolades on top of accolades. The NBA better not run and duck the Memphis Grizzlies in the next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah. Shout out to Chip Williams, who's an absolute beast when it comes to the NBA draft and scouting and all of that, just anything basketball.
Mm.
He talked about this on one of the many BCM shows that he's already done up to this point. He was saying how in college at Duke, Cam had to bulk up. He had to get bigger because they didn't have a real big. So Cam needed to play more of a 5. He needed to get stronger. He needed to change his game a little bit. But in high school, the dude's a wing. He's a 3 in high school. So it shows you that he can put on weight and he can also take off the weight when needed, and he's adaptable. He's the definition of a team first guy. He's like, yeah, whatever you need from me, I'm going to go do it. I really don't care as long as it helps us win. And that is literally the perfect player that you could have on not just a basketball team, but on any team. That's the perfect guy to have. So
and he's just he's a winner. He's won at every single level from AAU to high school to college. I don't see any reason why he won't be a winner in the pro. And shout out Kadarius. Like, our bigs are better than OKC's, and they're going to have to play defense. Like, they're not going to be able to just run up and down the floor on us anymore. Memphis is getting back with the likes of Cam Boozer, with the likes of Cedric Coward, Jalen Wells, who was just talking about defense yesterday. Like, we're getting back to that team. The teams are going to have to circle. They're going to be like, man, not only do we got to stay in a shitty hotel room, but they're going to beat the crap out of us for 4 quarters. Like, God, we play Memphis tomorrow night. Dadgum. Like, they're going to be circling that again because you're going to have to tighten that chin strap and lace them up if you come to 191 Beale Street. And when the Grizzlies come to your house, we're going to lock the doors. We're going to pick a fight. And you're going to wake up the next morning, you're going to be sore because it's not going to be a regular basketball game like you're used to playing. This team is going to be in the mud, and we thrive in the mud, right? The Grizzlies thrive in the mud. And with players like Beef Stew, harkening back to the grit and grind era, Scottie Pippen Jr. wearing a grit and grind shirt on his Asian tour that he's on right now. Like, I love the mantra and the attitude of this team. Don't let the negative Nancy's fool you. This is going to be a fun team to watch next year. Cam Spencer and Cam Boozer, Cam on Cam. Absolutely. The pick and roll with those guys. Because, again, Cam Boozer's ability to see the floor was one of the most impressive things to me in Summer League, Francis. And he was kicking out to guys like Javon Small and Taylor Hendricks and Tyler Burton. And no offense to those guys, except for maybe Tyler Burton. But they ain't Ty Jerome. They ain't Cam Spencer. They ain't Cedric Coward. They ain't these guys who are going to make the threes, who aren't going to miss. That first kick out from Cam in the post to Ty Jerome on the wing, and he buries it from, from the time stripe, like, is going to feed families. I bought my tickets to opening night. We're going to be there. Can't wait to be there to watch that first game. And Cam Boozer is going to be a winner. He's going to be a true culture setter for this Grizzlies. And I'm glad that the writers and folks at ESPN kind of see it because they voted him up in some of these categories.
Yeah, kind of, I guess. No, it's
sort of.
I'm fully with you, Rusty. I good luck. Say a prayer to opposing NBA defenses who are going to try and guard Cam Boozer in the high post. Good luck. Man.
That's it.
Good luck. You hit him on the short roll too, on a pick and roll. You hit him on a short roll where he's at the top of the key, and you can allow him to make a decision to either play make or fake a pass and go to the rim. You let him be a hub in the middle of the floor. Yeah, good luck. Yeah. Good luck defending that. Have fun. Yeah. That's not – and then Edie's going to be at the rim and the dunker spot, and then you got shooters around Cam Boozer. Like, good luck guarding that. Seriously, good luck because they're going to need it.
If you double team Cam like you did in Summer League, Zach Edey will have 60 points, and they'll all be dunks, right? But Kendarius, I'll do you one better. That's a big lineup. Ty said Gigi and Edey, Cam and Edey. That's a big lineup, but I'll do you one better. Wait till we roll out a set at the point, Jalen at the 2, Boozer at the 3, Quentin Post at the 4, and Zach Edey at the 5. That's a massive lineup.
Or Beef.
With shoot
or Beef instead of Post. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, either one of those guys. But think about this for a minute. Because Edey and Beef are the same type player, can you imagine when Edey and Post are on the floor together? What are you going to do? Right? You got a 7-footer in the post that's just going to yam it on your head, or you got a 7-footer at the 3-point line who is his rookie year shot 43% from 3 on a small sample size. But we don't need him shooting 6 a game. If he goes 2 for 3 or 3 for 4 on a night, that's a massive win. But you imagine, right, Sed handling the ball, which needs to get better, but then you got Jalen, Cam, Post, and Edey. Brother, like the shortest one is Sed at 6'6". Jalen's 6'8". You got Boozer is 6'9", Quentin Post 7+, Edie 7+. Like, teams have to account for that. And that's going to be a massive lineup that is going to give teams problems. And it goes back to my point. Teams are going to have to circle the Memphis Grizzlies because we're different. We move different here in Memphis.
Yeah, it's not going to be some pushover. There's no question.
Yeah.
I think every single game, Memphis has a legitimate chance to be in every single game. Like, for real, no matter who they play. Because other teams are going to have to game plan around these Grizzlies. They're going to actually have to think about how are they going to beat this team.
Yeah,
and I'm excited, man. I'm pumped.
That's it, man. Massive, massive lineup. All right, you got 2 minutes. Talk about your boy Fernando Tatis.
Holy moly. Holy moly. Did y'all see what he did Tuesday night for the San Diego Padres against the New York Mets? For anybody who doesn't follow baseball, who doesn't know, that's totally fine. Totally whatever. That's all good. But if you don't know, Tatis' first pitch against the New York Mets, first pitch home run, boom, easy. You know, they're facing a young pitcher, and like maybe the young pitcher thinks to himself, yeah, you know what, let me just sneak in a fastball and just get this game started. Nope, Tatis hits a homer first pitch. And then bottom of the second inning, they're up 1-0. And thank you, Smooth Southpaw. Yeah, but they played the Mets. Thank you so much.
I had to put it up much.
There. No, all good. Hey, all good. I'm a Padres fan because I live out here. You know, like I've got to be. Then bottom of the second inning, bases loaded for the Mets, 2 outs. Francisco Lindor is up to bat for the New York Mets, one of the best players in all of baseball. Hits a ball to right field. It's carrying. Tatis is tracking it. He's tracking it. And he robs a grand slam home run in a play that's one of the best defensive plays you will ever see, ever. Not only did he rob a homer, Rusty, he robbed a grand slam.
Yeah.
Grand slam.
I mean, yeah.
And then after that, he hits a homer in the top of the 5th. So Tatis alone was responsible for scoring 3 runs and for saving 4 runs. So he's like a +7, like essentially, like in that context. He won the Padres the game. And then the next game, when the Mets played the Padres in their rubber match at their game, they sucked. They barely scored. The only one who actually gave offense was Tatis again. So it's another up and down, inconsistent offense from my Padres. But I have to talk about Tatis. And I want to ask you, Rusty, you know, you're a PCA guy. You're a Cubs fan. He's probably going to win NL MVP. Who in your mind is the most electrifying player in all of baseball?
I mean, I'm gonna take Shohei Ohtani off the board because, like, obviously it's him, right? But right now in baseball, outside of those guys, I mean, PCA is one of them. He, over the weekend against we're not talking about the Cardinals games, but in that first White Sox game, he had a leadoff home run and a walk-off home run, and it doesn't get a lot better than that, right?
Nope.
I mean, Tatis is one because he's got a lot of draw to the younger crowd. I still love Mike Trout. He just is a harken back to a like a bygone era of baseball players. And I hate that he just got buried on bad Angel teams because Mike Trout truly is generational. Like, don't get it twisted. And so, but I mean, for me, Tatis is up there, man. Absolutely. But again, PCA, a walk-off and a leadoff home run in the same game. It's hard to do, man. Hard to do.
Yeah. I'm with you. I can't hate on PCA at all. What he's doing this year is absolutely incredible. NL MVP worthy. And I'm going to tell you what, if the Padres face the Cubs in a wild card, I will be terrified.
Yeah.
I will be absolutely horrified.
Yeah.
Very scared.
Because our pitching is better.
Very scared.
And PCA is going to be your NL MVP. First time we've had an MVP in Chicago in a long, long time. And I cannot wait. Cannot wait. All right. You had your moment in the sun. Moving on. Today, it came out that there was a judge in Louisiana that made a ruling that allowed 16 players more eligibility to come back to college. And a couple Ole Miss guys, DQ, what was that safety? DQ, I had it right here and it just went away. The safety from South Carolina. There were several, a big tight end from Ole Miss, a big offensive lineman from BYU. 16 players gained eligibility. So I have a question for you, Francis. We're not going to deep dive in all that because I think it's just goofy what we're doing now. Like, you're already a professional athlete. Why are you going back to college? But if I came to you and I said, Francis, since 2022, what Michigan player would you take back in Michigan on this year's team to make them better, who would you take?
I take Aiden Hutchinson. Yeah, that's pretty easy. That's pretty easy for me. I don't know if he fits within the time frame because he graduated in when he graduated in 2022, I think. So maybe he fits.
So.
He either
graduated
2022 or 2021. So I'm not sure if he fits, but if he does, yeah, I want Hutch. He was such a dominant defensive edge player for the Wolverines. He's one of the best linemen in all of NFL, especially when he's healthy, if he's healthy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Aiden's my answer. He's an absolute monster.
I've got two from Mississippi State. One of them's not sexy, but it's a position of need. So bear with me as a homer for a second. Again, this is on the house. This is our talks. Charles Cross from Laurel, Mississippi, 5-star recruit, one of the few 5-stars we've had. Seahawks, he's one of the highest paid offensive linemen. He was an all-pro last year, Pro Bowl offensive tackle. We need offensive line help. And if you told me that Charles Cross could come back right now and protect Kamario Taylor, I'm in. But the one I would absolutely take, one of the best, he led the NCAA in pick sixes. He led the NCAA in interceptions his last year on campus. He was a first-round pick, picked 16th overall by the Washington Commanders, currently with the Los Angeles Rams. Emmanuel Forbes, cornerback, because you put him with Kelly Jones, who's also going to be a top 15 pick next year in the NFL draft. Both Forbes is 6'3", Kelly Jones is 6'4". Both of them are rangy ball hawks. Did you know that last season Jones Island was a real thing? Throughout 12 college football games, Kelly Jones gave up 7 receptions.
Whoa!
7 receptions.
Okay.
The definition of a lot, and that included an SEC schedule and Jordan Tyson, a top 10 pick in the NFL. He held Jordan Tyson to 20 yards. He gave up one catch for 20 yards. A legit NFL receiver. So if you could give me Emmanuel Forbes and Kelly Jones on the defensive side of the ball, like, buddy, good luck, man. Good freaking luck.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that shout.
Man.
Yeah, that's really sick.
Shout out to my guys, man. Shout out to my guys. As we transition into our weekend picks, each and every Thursday, we're going to make picks of games across the weekend. And in that, we're going to pick games that we're going to go against one another. Currently, we're both 4-2. We both finished 4-2. We're tied. We can't have that, man. We finished 4-2 last week, man, over the weekend. And so we're gonna break that tie this weekend. And the first one I give you, we've got 4 NFL preseason games because that's what we have going on. We have one Major League Baseball game that's being played right now. It's about 30 minutes into it. Don't look at the score. Don't look at it.
I'm not looking.
Perfect. And then we're going to pick one golf. So we'll start with some preseason football. The Packers at the Broncos. The Broncos are a 5.5-point favorite. Francis, this is a big line for a preseason game.
Big line.
Packers or Broncos. Who are you taking?
We're doing just to make sure I understand. We're doing cover or win. I just want to make
either
sure
one. You can take. You can cover, or I took the Padres on the money line last week, so I'll let you pick.
Yeah. I'll just go. I mean, I think they cover and win. So, but like my pick will just be to win. I'll just go Denver because I'm never going to pick Green Bay in any of these picks. I'm never picking them. Just like heads up. I like it. In the Packers.
I like it. So Denver, that's a big number. I'm going to take the Packers to cover. I'm going to take the Packers with the points. I'm not going to take them outright. I don't know that they can win, but I am going to take Green Bay plus 5.5.
Okay.
Next up, Commanders at the Lions. I like what this looks like. It's a -1.5 favorite for the Lions. I like what these two teams are building. Shout out to Jaden Daniels for the Commanders. I think the Lions win by less than 5, but I am going to take them to cover in this game. Give me the Lions plus 1.5.
Why did you bring up that 5 there, Rusty?
Always, man. Listen, I'm always going to put in a Jaden Daniels joke when I can. If the New York Mets can crap on you for only scoring 4 runs, then I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that was hilarious, by the way, from the Mets. That was really funny.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go Detroit. Yeah, I'll pick Detroit to win and cover. I'll be with you.
All right, there we go. Bears at Bengals. Here's your chance, man. Is this going to be a homer pick? Chicago -2.5 at the Bengals.
Yes, homer pick. I'm going to pick my Bears to cover and win. And speaking of the Bears, another guy I would love to come back to Michigan would be Colston Loveland. I have incredibly high hopes for him in fantasy football. I think he has a real path to being tight end 1 this year, especially with the Tyler Warren injury. And then also with an anemic offense in Arizona with Trey McBride. I think there's a path for Colson Loveland to get tight end 1. Brock Bowers is probably going to be in the way of that, but there's a chance. Sure. There's a chance for Colson. So
I'm a big Tyler Warren guy. I do like Colson Loveland. I also think there's competition in the tight end room with Cole Kmet, the former Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Like, I like Kmet and what he does. He's more of a blocking tight end, but like, he can get downfield, man. He's more athletic than you give credit for. I like
just
Chicago's tight end room. He is.
He's just a little too old. Yeah.
I like what Chicago has in the tight end room. I'm also going to take Chicago as the Bears are my NFC team. I just can't pick against them, so I'm going to take him. Also, why I'm taking the Titans to cover at the Seahawks. They are a 4.5 point favorite. I think they win and cover. Give me the Titans over the Seahawks.
I'll differ from you. I'll go Seattle. I'll go Seattle to cover. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll pick them here. And we were talking about Carnell Tate a few episodes ago, or maybe it was last episode. I apologize for forgetting. He had a pretty disappointing first game. Pretty disappointing. So I'm curious to see again how that looks in game 2.
I'm trying to tell y'all. Shout out Parrish if you're out there watching. I know you like to watch the show, man. We were talking about it yesterday. He's not worried about Carnell Tate. I'm worried about Carnell Tate. DJ, I'm worried about Carnell Tate. I know you're not worried about Carnell Tate. I don't love the pick. I've never loved the pick when you had guys like Styles and Arvil Reese and all these guys that were right there that are Robert Saleh guys, and you went with a wide receiver 2 from Ohio State. I don't love it, man. I really don't love it. Yankees -1.5 at Baltimore. There are definitely wild card implications as the Yankees are in the wild card and the Baltimore is just outside. It's currently being played right now. Francis, who are you taking, Yankees or the Orioles?
One of my closest friends out here in San Diego is a big Yankees fan, so I gotta pick them for my boy. I'm gonna pick the Yankees, and I don't know the score. I promise you. So I have no idea. They could be losing by 6. Like, I have no clue. So I'm gonna pick the Yankees.
Yeah, I'm taking Baltimore to be different because this is the week that the men get separated from the boys, right? I'm taking Baltimore as I look at the score. Bottom of the first, no outs, nothing, Yanks and Orioles. So we're good. There. Cool. I'm taking the O's to cover. I think they'll win today. The Yankees just aren't quite what they have been. They're kind of limping a little bit. Give me the O's. And then this one I'm doing a little bit different, right? Because last week we picked the FedEx St. Jude Classic champ, and we both picked Fleetwood. We were both wrong. So I'm going to give it to you first. In the BMW Championship this weekend, Scotty Scheffler is currently plus 290. By the way, all of these are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official odds provider of Bluff City Media and its family of shows. Scotty Scheffler is plus 290, Francis, to win the BMW Championship this weekend. And that is an odds-on favorite by a lot. It's not really even close. Plus 290, and pulling it back up. Earlier, it was like plus 1,500, I think was the next. Let's see. Let me get this right because I want to make sure. So So to win without Scheffler, Rory McIlroy's plus 380. Roy must have had a good day today. Today's the first day of the BMW Championship. So I'm going to give you this. Would you take Scotty Scheffler at plus 290 or the field to win the BMW Championship?
I'm going to pick the field just because I saw the scoreboard earlier today. So
what did Scotty shoot? Because I haven't seen it yet.
Let me find exactly what he shot.
I'll pull it up right here too because I'm curious about it.
Not a great round. So he shot a 72. He's tied for 44th, almost last.
Yeah, almost last plus 2.
Yeah. I mean, but again, it's just round 1. He could obviously get hot. It's Scotty Scheffler, so you cannot count him out. It's a small field as well because it's the FedEx Cup playoffs, so there's only 50 guys in this tournament, so less dudes for Scotty to jump. So, I mean, I'm not going to fault anybody for still picking Scotty, even though, he can't beat me from the tips if he only uses 7-iron. But
you're back on that now, huh?
But
give me Scotty. Give me Scotty. I'm taking Scotty. He was well down in the leaderboard in the FedEx St. Jude, and then went and tied a course record at a 61. Yeah. There's a world where he does that again. I'm glad you took the field because I had written down Scotty before you said anything. So give me Scotty Scheffler to come back and win. There's going to be some big separation here. We only agreed on the Bears. Everywhere else, it's different.
This is what we need. This is what we need.
All right, man, as we start to land this plane to wrap this show up, we always end every single show with Rusty's reviews and Fran's flowers. We let Francis give his flowers at the end of the show to end on a positive note, because I got a hot take, pun intended. Summertime. We're talking summertime. I want to talk about summertime. If people tell you they love the summer, they say, oh, summertime is my favorite time of the year. They're lying to you. They're front runners.
Wow.
They're faking it. Because nobody truly loves summer. Everybody I've talked to, Drew Gann is a big guy that's a fan of summer and hot weather. I talked to several people who love summer. You love the idea of summer, and that means being at the beach or the lake or the river or in a pool. And if you have a pool, maybe it's different. I don't have a pool here in my backyard, so maybe it's a little bit different. So you love the idea of summer. Nobody loves it when it's 101 in the shade in Memphis in August and you're having to go to work. You're having to go fill up your car. You're having to go get groceries in the back bus in the parking lot. Nobody actually loves summer. They love the idea of summer because it's this whole concept of freedom to where it's like, oh man, when I was a kid, I had summer breaks and we played on slip and slides and we rode our bikes and you ate ice cream outside and you ate watermelons and see who could spit the seed farther in the backyard. I think summer as a nostalgic idea is a great idea, but I think summer as an adult is vastly overrated because you still got to go to work. Like I had to fill up my truck with gas and I'm sweating to death because I'm in khakis and a polo trying to look nice for my real estate job. Like nobody actually loves summer, especially if you live in the South. Smooth Southpaw's up in Cleveland. It was a balmy 77. Get out of here with that mess, man. Nobody, you live in Cleveland. It's a sad town anyway. But nobody actually loves summer. They love the idea and the nostalgia of summer. But if somebody tells you they love summer, it's over. They're lying to you because I think Rusty's reviews, my hot take, summertime is overrated.
I love that. I think that's an awesome take because it's the idea of summer that people love. It's what comes with it. It's July 4th. It's cookouts. It's people being with friends and everything. It's the idea of it. But the weather wise, it sucks. Like it's pretty crappy outside. I get you. I'm not fully with you on it, but I can meet you halfway. I get where you're coming from.
And we're adults, right? We're both adults. We have friends. How easy is it to get together with your friends these days, right? Especially the ones that have kids or they have responsibilities, right? When you're in college and in high school, like summertime's great because nobody's doing anything. You can go and play and hang out and have a ton of fun. But as an adult, like it's hard to get together for cookouts. It's hard to do those things. Like July 4th cookout's great, but whoever's manning the grill, which is usually me and my family cookouts, I'm sweating my nuts off, man. Sorry for the expression here. And it's so hot cooking the ribs and the chicken and the hot dogs and stuff. And so I think summertime as an adult is vastly overrated. I'm with DJ. Like fall is definitely my favorite because you've got football, you've got hunting season, bonfires, you like jeans and a hoodie is my favorite combination. I'm a big vest guy. Best weather's best weather. Like I think fall is where it's at, man. But summertime, you overrated.
Yeah, well said. All Smooth Southpaw said, minimal basketball. Yeah, that's always basketball ends in June, and then it's tough for the NBA. All love for the WNBA, but it's tough with no NBA. So I think that's totally fair. No college basketball neither. So that's a good one. I like that a lot. All right, I'm gonna give my Fran's flowers, to one of Anthony Sain's favorite guys in all of sports journalism.
I can't wait for this.
One of his favorite guys. Sain loves this guy. Sain's been talking about him for a while and how much he loves this guy. It's the same guy who's won a Pulitzer Prize, an award that for some reason, Rusty, kind of gets tossed aside like it's a participation trophy. Like Kendrick Lamar won a Pulitzer Prize and people don't care about that. Rusty, I don't get it, man. It's not like the award's been around since 1917. Like, I don't understand why that just gets thrown away like it's some nothing, but whatever. I'm going to give my flowers to a guy who won a Pulitzer for his investigative journalism into Kawhi Leonard, Steve Ballmer, aspiration, and the whole entire salary cap circumvention story. I'm not going to tell grown ass people what and what not to care about. That's not what I'm here to do. You are your own person. You make your own decisions. If you don't care about this story, that's totally fine with me. That's all good. But if you don't care about the story, Rusty, you're telling me that you're okay with cheating. You're okay with the sport that we love. You're okay with the integrity of that sport being put into question. You're okay with that. That's what it tells me. I don't think you can not care about this story and claim that you care about the integrity of the sport. Pablo Torres had DeMaurice Smith, who's a former executive director of the NFLPA, on his show to talk about this whole story and everything. And if you haven't watched it, he talks about essentially why this story really does matter in the scheme of just sports as a whole. So go watch that if you haven't. You know, shout out to that episode. Go watch it if you haven't. But he said that cheating cannot be your baseline. It just can't. Regardless of whether or not it had an impact on the actual basketball court, it had an impact on how a basketball team was built. And Rusty, how a basketball team is built is literally the heart of the NBA. Roster building, understanding how to fit players together, how to maneuver around a salary cap that was agreed upon in a collective bargaining agreement that was agreed upon by players and owners. You got to find ways to work within the rules of a CBA. You've got to. And if you're okay with what happened with Kawhi Leonard, Steve Ballmer, Aspiration, Daktronics now, whatever, then you're telling me that you're okay if Denver tries to circumvent the salary cap knowing that they're in salary cap hell, owing all this money to all these players. So that means you're cool with Denver circumventing the salary cap too. And whether or not everyone else in the NBA is circumventing the salary cap, that is not the point. That is not the point. It's still not okay. And all Pablo Torres did was uncover the truth as to what happened with Kawhi and what happened with Steve Ballmer and Aspiration, whatever. That's all he did. And he's just bringing these issues to light. And whether or not anything actually happens to Kawhi, that doesn't mean that Pablo and his journalism and his investigative journalism should be brought down and should be talked down upon. Because all he did was try and shed truth and bring truth to light. That's it. That's all journalism is really, that's all journalists try to do is bring truth to what's going on in this world. So that's how I feel about this whole story, man. Like I'm not saying that you got to care about this. You definitely don't have to. You're your own person. You don't got to. And I know I mentioned saying before, I'm not talking specifically just to saying, I'm talking to everybody who says that they don't care about this story. That's your choice. But if you don't care about this, then that means you're okay with other teams doing the same stuff and circumventing the salary cap. And that to me is not okay.
And like the point that it didn't result in an NBA championship doesn't matter. That still directly impacts the Grizzlies, right? Because like if other teams are doing that, we're a small market scrapping and fighting and clawing for every single player we can get to come here. Then if a mainstream mega market team can circumvent the salary cap to keep a guy like Kawhi Leonard, then what are we doing here? Then we're even further down the pecking order, even further down the line to be able to get some of these players because other teams are cheating to get there. And if it happened 7 years ago, it doesn't matter. Cool. Don't call Donald Trump a pedophile anymore because he was caught 20 years ago, right? Like you can't, there's no timeline to this. Cheating is cheating. Bad things happen. There are consequences. Just because it didn't result in a championship doesn't mean that Kawhi Leonard shouldn't face punishment. Steve Ballmer and the Clippers shouldn't face punishment. Like there are consequences to your actions. And what they did goes directly at the integrity of the NBA. And just because the NBA is, again, to my point from Tuesday's episode, if I investigate myself and say, hey, IRS, I don't think I owe any taxes, then of course I'm going to say that because I'm trying to maximize and use my money for myself. Of course that's what the Clippers are going to say. Of course that's what the NBA is going to say. The NBA is going to not going to give themselves a black eye. They're going to let somebody else do it. And so just because there wasn't the results of the investigation wasn't, oh my God, that they clearly did something wrong, doesn't mean that something bad didn't happen because I've been told this since I was a child. Shout out King Meeks. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's a ton of smoke. And I don't think Pablo is done. I don't think there is. We've heard all the story. He's already put out some cryptic tweets. And I think more is to come.
Also, Rusty, it's not over. Like the findings of the investigation haven't been brought down yet. It hasn't happened yet. The report from ESPN reporters, that's not a ruling. That's not a judgment. It's not binding. Nothing's actually happened yet. Yep. And even if nothing happens again, even if nothing happens, which there's a high likelihood nothing happens because whether or not this is actually an independent investigation, you can shove that where the sun don't shine. Of course, it's not independent. Yeah. Freaking the NBA hired him. Steve Ballmer hired him. No, it's not independent. But regardless if nothing is found, that doesn't mean, like you said, nothing bad happened. It's like when the Kendrick and Drake beef, where Drake was like, "Oh, so if I actually did all this stuff with these underage girls, I would have been caught by now. That is not the point. That's not the point, Drake. Like, it's all, everyone sees it. Everyone knows it. You're a creep. Like, you're a creepy guy. Like, just because you haven't been thrown into jail doesn't mean you're not a creepy dude. Like, that's not what that means. Like, just because Kawhi doesn't get in trouble or the Clippers don't get in trouble, if that is the end result of this whole thing, that doesn't mean shady shit didn't happen. That's not what that means. So that's where I stand with this whole thing. So I'm going to give Pablo Torres, his whole team, everything he does, Fran's flowers for this episode.
Absolutely. I love it, man. And what a great way to end. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate everybody in the comments. Look, we appreciate y'all rocking with this new show. It's brand new to the BCM family of shows, and yet y'all are showing up and showing out. Y'all are attending, being in the audience, giving us thumbs up, hopping in the comments. Thank you, everybody who was here today. Can't begin to name all of them, but Kendarius, Keelan, Southpaw, King Meeks, DJ, Wayno, the usual crew. Thank y'all for being here. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. If you didn't give us the cover charge on the way in, which is a thumbs up, you owe it on the way out the door. Appreciate everybody being here and giving us that thumbs up. It helps us in the algorithm and grow, find more people, find more cool folks to hang out with us in the comments, which is what we're doing it for, right, Francis? You always say, like, we couldn't do it without y'all in the comments. Like, y'all rock here in the comments, man, and we appreciate it. And Francis, appreciate you, man. What a show. Jammed a lot in the hour and 20-minute show, man. Thank you for being here and for rocking with me today, man. It was awesome. Great show, buddy.
Yeah. All love, man, to everyone in the comments again, what Rusty said. Thank you all your support, Bluff City Media. Y'all are the best. We'll see y'all next week on a Tuesday where you won't have softball. So
yes, my softball game next Tuesday is backed out. We are at 7 p.m. I got time. So we'll have an hour-long show for y'all next Tuesday. And then the following Tuesday, you're going to get a live in-person BCM Happy Hour at Grind City Brewing. I'm so stoked for that, man. Cannot wait to do that with you, Francis. It's going to be an awesome time. But for now, we're going to go ahead into the weekend. Make sure you tip your bartenders. You take care of your mentals. And we'll see you back here on BCM Happy Hour on Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Happy Hour. If you enjoyed the episode, subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. Also, leave a like and comment wherever you download your audio podcasts. We'll see you back here next time.